coffee yet, but it's good to see you. And today we're going to continue in Hebrews chapter 11, and I'm going to beginning to read about Abraham's family. Abraham helps us to learn that faith is more than an intellectual belief, but it also involves the heart and the hands. That it includes not only what you know, but what you feel about what you know, and that you do something with the things that you know. And so faith is this encompassing thing that happens to Christians. And so now we read about a little bit about his family, but his family from his perspective, not from their perspective. We'll get to their perspective later. Verse 9, by faith Abraham made his home in the promised land, like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. He was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. And so we learn that his children and his grandchildren become heirs of the promise, and that's not by blood. It's not a bloodline thing. We tend to think that it is, but they are heirs because of the promise, their reaction and their life that gets lived out in the promise. And God's promise is that he would allow Abram's family to become a model nation, and they would live in a promised land. They would have a physical inheritance, but the inheritance is based upon the promise. And so I love that the key to that I see in Abram's family is this understanding of looking forward. And that is such an important aspect of faith, is that faith always is looking forward to the fulfillment of the promise, not stuck in the present or stuck in the past, not stuck in the here, not stuck where my feet are planted, but always looking toward the next step, where I'm going to end up. And that's a really important lesson for us in our faith, is that we should always be looking forward. So my head looks forward to the next thing I'm going to learn about God. My heart looks forward to the next relationship that's going to be built based on faith and how deep that faith is going to go. And my hands and my feet look forward to the next accomplishment that God has in store for me as I continue my walk in faith. And so that's what I wanted to share with you this morning, is I hope that you are looking forward to the future and what God has in store. That's a good lesson for me. It's obviously a lesson that Abram was able to teach his children and his grandchildren, because they become heirs. They don't get stuck in the here and now and in the present, but they become heirs of the eternal promise that God has for them. And that is such an honor as a parent and a grandparent, to watch your faith legacy start to get lived out in the lives of those who follow after you. And I'm sure that that was Abram's pride in his life, is that his children and his grandchildren become heirs of what God has promised, that they learn to look forward to tomorrow. They don't get stuck in the present or in the past, but they yearn for the promise to be fulfilled. And so today, just a great way for us to start our week, and we're still at the beginning of 2022. As men and women of faith, we look forward to what God has in store. Amen. He has a great tomorrow for us. So you have a great day, and I hope God's blessing be with you.